Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing speed reviews today. I have a ton of makeup products that I need to update you guys on. These are all things that I've tried out over the last couple of months that you very likely saw in maybe just one or two videos, and I never really gave you my final thoughts on. And I have some thoughts on these products today. Some of these really did not work out for me, but I have got a lot to cover. I am challenging myself to be very brief in my explanations of why I do or do not like these products and try and get through these quickly. But before we do that, I want to give a special welcome to any of my new visitors here. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave and make sure that your notifications are turned on. With that said, let's get right to it. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. Let's start with some face products, specifically foundations. I've got a lot of foundation and base products. Let's go through this one first. So this was for my Amazon video. This was the I'm not quite sure how to say that, sensitive skin serum. Looks just like the IT Cosmetics. For what I paid for it, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but I wouldn't say run out and buy this. It didn't have the longest wear time. It kind of reminded me of the Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation, which I really love. But the Wet n Wild foundation looks great on my skin for about 4 hours, and then it just kind of fades away. That's kind of how this stuff is. It just does not last very long. One of the shade matches, the shade Sand, is completely the wrong match for me. I might keep it around for a while to kind of use as a mix-in for foundations that are too light. But even then, I think there's other foundations that I probably would rather mix in than this one. I'm just not wild about it. Coverage-wise, I say it has low-medium coverage. So usually I'm looking for a little bit better coverage than that. As for this is the actual IT Cosmetics. This is their CC Nude Glow Foundation. I don't like this as much as I like my IT Cosmetics Illumination CC Cream. I don't think the coverage is quite as good. I think this has solid medium coverage, maybe just below medium coverage, whereas my CC Cream Illumination has a little bit higher on the medium coverage spectrum. I just like the way that one covers and looks and wears a little better. That said, I don't dislike this. I would give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. The shade isn't perfect. I picked the shade medium, which is a little bit dark for me, unless I'm at my tannest. I'm probably gonna keep this around until the summertime. I think I'll probably use this in the summertime. I do like a good BB or CC cream in the summer that has some SPF in it. And I feel like this will be one that I'll enjoy more when I have a bit of a tan and when I'm looking for just a lighter coverage on a normal average day that I don't need something that's super long wearing. It's just kind of a basic foundation, and compared to the one that I love so much, the Illumination CC, I don't think it's quite as good as that one, at least for me. I think I may have updated you guys on this one already. This is the Essence Keep Me Covered Long Lasting Foundation. Coverage-wise, formula-wise, I really liked this, but the shade was terrible. This shade is 80 light medium. I obviously can't comment on all the other shades, but this is the most strangely yellow, almost orangey, peachy undertone. It just looks so unnatural on me. I do like something that has a bit of yellow in it, but you can go too far in that direction. Just from the bottles that I saw in the store, again, this is just based off on what I saw inside the bottle, which is not a guarantee. They kind of all seemed very strongly this kind of undertone. I don't know that you're picking that up on camera. I just couldn't get it to work for me. It's kind of unfortunate because I don't think it's a bad formula, and I actually really liked the concealer. A couple more recent ones. The Diamond Perfector Foundation. This stuff, I kind of like it. It's very serumy, and I would say it's more lighter coverage. I have had to mix this with some other darker foundations of mine because the shades that they sent me are much too light. I really need the third shade. But I actually really like this as a mix-in. I'll mix 3 parts of this with 1 part of one of my darker foundations. I think I usually pick my Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation in Caramel, which is way too dark for me, but that gives me a good shade. And I just really like how this looks on the skin, even though it's a lower medium coverage. It's not a solid medium coverage that I typically look for, but it gives a ton of hydration. It's very serum-like. So if you have extremely dry skin, you don't need a lot of coverage, or you can supplement coverage with a good concealer, you might like this a lot. And then I have my About Face foundation. I'm pretty happy with this foundation. There are a couple things that I don't love about it. I don't think it wears as long as I was hoping it did. I think it is marketed as kind of a longer wearing foundation. And it does seem after about 6 hours, it seems to kind of break apart or kind of fade off around my nose, around my mouth, around even my forehead, some of those troublesome areas. But I really like the coverage of it. I like the shade. This is the shade LM1 Neutral, which seems a really good match for me. And I love the bottle and the applicator. I think this is so interesting. It kind of has this giant doe foot, which I didn't think I would like, but I've actually really been enjoying this foundation. Let's go to perhaps one of the worst products that I tried out recently, and I think it's because this was not the type of product I was expecting it to be. It's the Live Tinted Hue Glow in Golden Hour. This is a really strong liquid highlighter. I bought it thinking it would be more like a luminous primer, or could be used that way, kind of like the Say Glowy Super Gel. This has way more reflect in it. It's much more pigmented and rich. Let me give it a little live swatch on the back of my hand for you guys. Here it is right here. It is absolutely, I mean, like metallic looking and very, very strongly golden. I think if you have a medium to deep skin tone and you like liquid highlighter, that would look beautiful on someone with a deeper skin tone than myself. I believe this is the lightest shade that they had. I can use it sparingly as a liquid highlighter. It's just a little bit greasy feeling. I'm not usually a fan of liquid highlighters unless I can use them as a primer, and it's just a little bit too dark for me. I'm not going to declutter it quite yet. I want to wait till the summertime and see when my skin's a little bit tanner, if I can find a better way to use this or if it works a little bit better for me. But just be aware that this is a very kind of oily feeling, I would say. It just has like a really strong like face oil kind of feel to it. I bet it'd be beautiful like on your shoulder blades or your collarbone in the summertime if you like to do that sort of thing. I always think I will do that kind of thing in the summer, like I'm gonna hang out by the beach looking all glammed, which I never do. But I don't know, a girl can dream. It is very glossy looking. I just think it's a little too strong for me and the shade's not quite right. Let's go through some concealers. This one I don't think I ever fully updated you guys on. It's the YSL All Hours Concealer. I like this concealer. I don't like it as much as I like my Dior Forever Skin. It is a thinner consistency. It has pretty, I would say, high medium coverage. I think that Dior has a true full coverage, and this is just not quite as high in coverage. That said, I like it. It's not a bad one, and I think you get a lot of product in here for a more luxury brand and a higher price tag. The shade is good. I have the shade LW1. I just still think if I had to pick this or the Dior, I'd go for the Dior. This one, the Essence Keep Me Covered Concealer. I have the shade Warm Shell. I really like this. I think this is a really nice concealer. It's a good shade for me. It is a little bit yellow, but I can get away with the yellow as long as it's light enough. Kind of cancels out some of the redness under my eyes. There it is right there. Really cheap, nice formula, good solid coverage, not too cakey. It doesn't crease too much. It wears well. Just a good basic concealer that's super cheap. And then this one is the She Glam concealer that I tried out from that Amazon video I did a couple of weeks ago. This should have made it into my last favorites video. I had intended to mention this. I'm wild about this concealer. I think it is fantastic, great coverage, a little bit on the kind of thicker side. Actually, the formula of this does remind me of my Dior concealer. It's just a little bit more thick and kind of pasty. But I hate to say that because I feel like that's kind of a turnoff. I basically just mean it's like, it has a ton of pigment in it. But you don't need to use a lot because it's so high coverage. You can go in with a super, super light hand and get maximum coverage out of it. It works great as an eye primer for me. By the way, the shade I have is Shell. I think they had quite a few shade options. Not sure from light to dark, like what their range was like, but I've been very happy with this concealer. I've been using it more than any of my other concealers besides my Flower Beauty or my Physicians formula. This has made it into the rotation as much as those, which are my favorites. Let's move on to mascaras. I have a ton of them right here. None of these were like amazing, but I thought most of them were okay. Probably I don't know if I would even say my favorite. One of my favorites is the one that I'm wearing today. This is the Panda mascara that I tried out again in that Amazon video. I really like this. It's not as good as the other Tony Moly mascaras that I tried several years ago. I used to rave about them if you've been with me for a while. Honestly, I'm giving it like 2 extra points for the cute packaging. Have you ever seen a cuter mascara package than this? Unless you hate pandas, which you're a monster if that's true. Who could possibly hate pandas? I just think it's so cute. It is very nice and long wearing. It can get a little bit flaky by the very end of a long day, but that said, I love the way that this comes off. It comes off almost like a tubing mascara, but more, it kind of like flakes off as you're washing it. But it doesn't run. It's not so flaky that I end up with like particles under my eyes by the end of the day. It just kind of gets a little bit dry feeling. Tends to hold a curl pretty well. It's just like a good solid formula that makes my lashes look pretty good, like an 8 out of 10. I have a couple from Essence, these two right here. This is the Bye Bye Panda Eyes. Funny, I didn't even make the connection. Panda, panda. This one just did not do enough for my lashes. I did think it removed well. It wasn't as tubing as, say, the Thrive Cosmetics mascara. I've never found a mascara that quite removes like that one does. It kind of performed pretty weak on my lashes though. You really had to work to get this to give you enough volume and length. I just didn't think it made my lashes look very good, so I probably wouldn't recommend that one. This one, the Get Big Lashes, I thought did better things for my eyelashes. It made them a little bit longer and thicker, gave them nice curl and volume. However, this brush is very difficult to work with. It's just very messy. It's a very messy brush. You have to be so careful with it because it's so huge. I mean, I can work with it. I'll probably keep using this. I don't think it looks as good on my lashes as their Lash Princess mascara, the original green one, but I think the formula is a little better if you have watery eyes. It's a little bit more budge-proof, smudge-proof, water-resistant. It's just that large brush. You have to be very careful. And then I have two from Physicians Formula. This one right here is the Lash Illusion mascara. These were both sent to me by Physicians Formula. This one is okay. It's more of a like natural eyelash mascara. It doesn't give me the greatest amount of length and volume. It makes my lashes look a little bit softer, more defined, more natural. I think it's pretty good. It does wear pretty well. I've actually been pretty impressed with most of these mascaras as far as how they wear. None of them run. In fact, it's been a while since I found a mascara that when my eyes water a little bit, they get actually runny. It's pretty good. I don't know that I'd say run out and buy it, but it's definitely not a bad mascara. And then this one I like a little bit more. This is the Diamond Mascara. I've had this one for several months. I think it's better now that it is sat for a good 2 months and kind of thickened up just a little bit. That said, this is a very tricky mascara as far as application. It can be very, very messy for different reasons than this one, than the big brush this one had. It has kind of a strange brush where you see how it's kind of curved. This side and this side have bristles on them, and then the two like flat sides don't have any bristles, and they get some like gloopy, a lot of gloopy product on them. So you can get like big gloops of product in your lashes that you then have to kind of like brush out. You have to be very careful. It can get very messy, but if you can get it on right and after a little bit of practice, this does really good things for my lashes. It makes them look nice and thick and dark and voluminous and long. Again, it wears pretty well, but it removes easily, which I always love. I haven't tested this one. In fact, I don't know that I've tested any of these up to the ultimate watery eye test, which is baseball season. We're just getting into baseball season. I will keep you guys posted if I notice that this is not baseball season worthy, not truly waterproof. That's really all I mean when I say that, is something that's like really strongly water resistant, but still comes off without a makeup remover. So we'll see, but for now, I think this one's pretty good and the packaging is really cute too. Let's talk about these two bronzers. This one first from Jacqueline, which I think has been discontinued. The smell of this one. Every time I crack it, it smells so much like, it's not even maple syrup. It smells like a maple donut. I don't even like maple donuts. It just has that kind of like, ooh, overly sweet smell. And this is coming from someone that really appreciates scented makeup, like my Physicians Formula products, the butter products. I love a good Too Faced palette, but this one is just a little bit much. And the shade I have, Skinny Dip, was just a little bit too kind of reddish orange. I don't know. More than anything, it was just the smell. Too bad. The packaging is beautiful. This right here, the NYX Matte Bronzer. This one is in the shade Medium. It's okay. I kind of feel like this is not the right shade for me. I probably should have gone for the shade Light, but that one looked a little bit too light. I wish they would have had something kind of in between the two. It's a good formula. It's affordable. The packaging's pretty nice. I just don't know that I would recommend running out and buying it unless you're a deeper skin tone than me, and this shade might work for you better. Okay, let's go through some lip products. This Liss lip pencil. It's okay. It's not technically a long wearing formula, but it is a little bit more on the stiff side. I would like it a lot better if it was longer wearing, but the shade's really nice. This one is in the shade Driven, just kind of a nice warm kind of brownie nude. It's not bad. It's probably not gonna make it into any favorites videos. I wouldn't recommend running out and trying this, but it's okay. This right here is from J Cat Beauty. This is the Dew Glow Lip Hydrator. This stuff is okay. I don't use these type of products super often, but I feel like this would be a really good product to just kind of throw in your purse if you like something that's more of like a sheer kind of tinted lipstick or like a glossy lipstick. So there's the color right there. Nice basic pink. It's very nice and hydrating and comfortable, and the packaging seems pretty nice. I just honestly haven't used this a ton yet. Maybe I should force myself to throw this into my purse and see if I can get to know it a little better, if it will kind of grow on me. But for now, I just think it's kind of like a basic lip product. Okay, this is the Diamond Plumper Lip Gloss from Physicians Formula. Again, this was sent to me. They're one of the only brands that I think officially has me on their PR list, so I get a lot of stuff from Physicians Formula, and I actually really like this lip gloss. Initially, I thought that I wouldn't because it looks like such a strong color. This is the gloss that I'm wearing on my lips today. I have a tiny bit of that Liss lip liner just on the bottom right here, but other than that, it's just this gloss right here, and it's very, very pretty. Really pretty color. It's kind of sheer, but gives you just enough. I think it's gonna be pretty in the spring and the summertime when I have a little bit more of a tan. It's a good formula, beautiful packaging. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised by this one. I actually really like it. And then I have these. These are the About Face lip glosses. I really want to like these more than I do. So these are both called their Light Lock lip glosses. This is their old packaging. This is their newer packaging. Their newer packaging has more product in it, by the way, which I was thankful to see. I like the formula of these. They're very non-sticky. I just feel like the shades that I have are all a little bit strange, which can be a good or a bad thing, depending on what you are looking for. If you're looking for a different kind of lip gloss in your life, something that's like a shade that's gonna kind of switch things up. Maybe you normally just buy all the same shades, like a basic nude. These shades are kind of interesting. This one I just can't wear on its own. This one is in the shade Such Great Heights, and it's like a very peachy gold. It has a ton of pigment in it. I don't know if that comes across on camera. If you saw the video where I tried this out for the first time and I just swiped it on my lips, I looked like C-3PO. It gave me this like very strongly bright peachy gold. It just was a little too much. So this is more of like a supplemental lip gloss, maybe something I can kind of just pop like right in the center. Do you guys see that? It's very, very pigmented. I think I would like it better if it was a little bit more sheer, but it's very non-sticky. You get a good amount of product in here, and the About Face products are actually quite affordable for something that's more on the high-end side. Okay, let's talk about some blushes next. And boy, you guys, I have so many liquid blushes. Wait till you see all of these. But before I get to those, I wanted to update you guys on the Florence by Mills Cheeky Pop Blush Stick. I went with the shade Kind Kelly. These are almost too pigmented for me, and maybe it was just the shade I went with. It's a very Barbie kind of pink, which is not usually a blush shade that I gravitate towards. However, these have amazing reviews, so maybe it's just me. I'm not like against this blush. I just think the other blushes that I've tried over the last several months I like a lot better than this one. Almost is just a little bit too thick and too pigmented. You have to be careful that you don't get too much on your brush. You kind of wipe the excess off on the back of your hand because it is so opaque. But if you don't like something overly glossy like the Flower Beauty ones or the Milk Makeup ones, this one has more pigment in it and less kind of dewiness. So maybe if you have more oily skin, this might work better for you. Or if you like a little bit more pigment in your blush, this definitely does have that. That's the swatch right there. Sorry, my hands are getting a little bit crowded. Then I have all of these liquid blushes to share with you guys. And honestly, I like them all. I wouldn't say that I love one more than the other. I've been trying to force myself to rotate through these for the last several weeks. Some longer than that, maybe a couple of months. I actually think they all perform very similarly. So I have the Rare Beauty blushes right here. I have one in the dewy finish and one in the matte finish. I like them both. This one, Happy, is a good kind of basic pink. This one has a little bit more dew to it. These are quite pigmented, so you really do not need very much product. There's the shade Happy right there. I should probably wipe my hands off before I swatch all of these. There's Happy right there. This one is the shade Bliss. I think this one is a little bit more peachy, and this is a matte formula. Honestly, I don't notice a huge difference in the dewy versus the matte formula. I feel like they both sink into the cheeks pretty well. There's Bliss right there. A little bit lighter, and I'd say this one probably sets down a little bit better. So maybe longevity wise, this one probably lasts just a little bit longer, but I haven't really tested that out side by side or really paid attention to that yet. They both last pretty well on me, I would say. As for the e.l.f. ones, I have these three shades right here. I like them all. I don't know that I would recommend one formula over the other. I mean, these are obviously cheaper. So I have the shade Peach Perfect, which is a good basic nude. This is a pretty light shade. If you have anything like light, medium, and darker, this is probably gonna be too light for you, but if you have fair skin, I think you'll probably love this shade. Then I have the shades Dusty Rose, which is actually kind of a warmer nude pink, really good basic shade, kind of like those Rare Beauty ones actually. Let's swatch this one. Okay, so I swatched all three shades of the e.l.f. blushes. So here's the lightest one, the Peach Perfect one. This is the Dusty Rose. And then this much deeper one right here, which I really love. This is the shade Suave Mauve. Very, very pretty shade. Much more of like a winter kind of shade. I love shades like that. But I really like these formulas. They are a little bit more hydrating, a little bit more I don't know, sheer. They have a little bit of sheerness to them. I would say they're even a little less, I keep saying little. How many times do you say little? Less pigmented even than the Rare Beauty ones, but not by much. These are actually very, very close dupes for each other as far as formula goes. But honestly, I like them both. I don't know that I could say go out and buy one over the other. I mean, the price is the biggest difference, which is a big consideration. And then there's this one. This is from Physicians Formula. This is their liquid blush in the shade Brilliant Peach. You get a ton of product in here. This one has 0.24 fluid ounces. Actually, that's the same amount as the Rare Beauty ones. Those ones have 0.25 as well. This shade Brilliant Peach, let's give this a swatch. It's kind of just a basic warm nude. It actually looks a lot like the Dusty Rose shade from e.l.f., the one in the middle, maybe a little bit deeper. Very pretty formula, easy to blend. All of these go on so easily. For me, the best way to put them on is with a brush. I don't like putting them on with a sponge as much. I feel like it pulls coverage off of your cheeks. I think a brush you can kind of tap on and it blends a little bit better without having to like really press or move things around. And then the last liquid blush that I also really like is from She Glam. This is in the shade Rose Ritual. The packaging of this one is so cute, so beautiful. Very kind of like Lancome feeling to me. And here is the shade right here. I'm wearing this one on my cheeks today. It's actually pretty close to the Physicians Formula shade. There it is right there. Really nice and pigmented. Very hydrating without being greasy in any way. It's more of like a stain kind of finish. Wears really well on me. And if you like good packaging and a cheap price, I would say this is maybe the winner of the bunch. Okay, speaking of She Glam, I also have their liquid bronzer or contour. This one I don't like quite as much. I generally don't like a liquid bronzer or contour as much as I like a cream bronzer or contour. They're just a little harder to apply. Bronzers typically for me require much more blending because you're covering a much larger area. You're going kind of on your temples, you're kind of shaping your face with it. And if something's too liquidy and I have to spend too much time working at it, it tends to just pull coverage off of my face, which I feel like I'm always commenting on, but the older I get, the more of an issue that is. So this is the shade Golden Sun. It's actually a beautiful shade. I would say it leans more on the cool side. It's more of like a contour shade, but if you have fair skin, this is a beautiful, beautiful color and formula if you do like a liquid bronzer or contour. I would say I like it every bit as much as my Milani, my Charlotte Tilbury. It's nice. It is easy to blend. It just requires more time because of the way that I use a bronzer on my face and how I apply it. I am now wondering though, I haven't tried this with a brush yet. I should probably try that and get back to you guys because I wonder the way I feel about the liquid blushes. I like applying these much more with a brush than a sponge. Maybe I would like applying this also more with a brush. I'm just not quite sure I have a brush for a liquid bronzer. One more bronzer. I have the bronzer stick from ColourPop. I like this. This is the bronzer that I put on my cheeks today. I don't know that I'd say it's my favorite cream bronzer. It's very emollient. The form of this kind of reminds me of like the Fenty bronzer, which I really like, but I like that that one's in a pan. This one seems too soft to be in a stick form to me. It just gets very messy. It's kind of a weird skinny shape where it's hard to like get this on my brush, and I do like applying this best with a brush. But the formula is really nice, the color is really nice. It's a very close dupe for the Milk Makeup Bronzer Stick in Baked. Even the formulas are somewhat the same. It's good. I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. I think we are just about done. I just have eyeshadow palettes left, so we're gonna go through these really quickly. First off, the MAC Connect in Color eyeshadow palette. This one is in Kryptonite Color Story. It's a cool tone palette. It's not just a cool tone palette. This is a very cool tone palette. It actually is a little too cool toned for me. I don't dislike it. I thought the formulas were nice. The shimmers are a little on the weak side, and I don't mean that as far as their performance. They just don't have a lot of glow or sparkle to them, which I'm sure is intentional. I think these are more of like a natural kind of finish. They do have a good amount of pigmentation. They blend easily. They're not bad formulas. I just like something that has a lot more sparkle on my lid, and these shimmers were all just a little bit soft. Just not really my preference, and the color story is just a little bit too cool even for me. I'll probably hang on to it because I just do not have very many cool tones that are this cool in my collection. But honestly, I don't think that I will probably use this all that much unless my preferences drastically change over the next, I don't know, 5 years or so. Then I have my Melt Cosmetics palettes. These are really good. I don't know if they still offer these on Sephora's website. These were on sale. I kind of feel like they were clearing these out. They're these Zodiac ones. I have the water and the earth one. They're very nice formulas. I really like the mattes and the shimmers. I feel like the color stories are just they're quite bold. I mean, if bold color is your thing, like these are gonna give you really unique, bold looks. This one obviously more blue and green tones. They're pretty, just not really everyday shades for me. And then you have the Earth palette, much more kind of warm and yellowy and orangey, earthy tones, as the name implies. Again, great formulas. I feel like this one's missing a lighter shade, which I need a lighter shade on my lid. I can't not use a lighter shade on my lid because I'm just so set in my ways, I guess. But the formulas are nice. I haven't used the yellow yet. I don't like shimmery yellows like this. I don't think they look good on my skin tone or my eye color. For whatever reason, I don't think those colors look very good on me. But again, the formulas are nice. I got these for $19 a piece. I think they're a good value for that price. I don't know that I would pay more than that though. And I don't know that I would say run out and buy these unless you like bold color. And then the palette I have on my eyes today is from ColourPop. This is the Heavy Petal palette. I kind of like this eye look today, but I'll be honest, this palette just doesn't excite me. I don't know why. I feel like a couple of the shimmers are a little bit on the chalky side. It looks good on camera, but looking at it in my mirror, kind of looks like I've been rubbing my eyes, like maybe I have allergies. It's that kind of a shade that is like kind of pink and kind of red, kind of orange, but it almost just looks like your eyes are irritated. Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't love this palette. I'll be honest, I think the formulas in the color store are just kind of so-so for ColourPop. Not their best. Lots of palettes from ColourPop that I would prefer over this one. And I think that is everything, you guys. It's very possible that I left something out. I almost always do. It's hard to keep track of this stuff. Trying new stuff out all the time. There are sometimes things that kind of fall through the cracks. So if there is something that I forgot to mention or that you've been wondering about that I tried, haven't updated you guys on, let me know down in the comments below. I will try to include that in a future video. But hopefully you guys found this helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me give you one last reminder. Please be sure to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.